The video of the car explosion? You mean? I was reading the thing. I was actually going to the bathroom. And had to make sure. I almost forgot about the car explosion video. So wait, you caught up? That means you must have had to, because I only just started getting the last night's stream up on the archive. So did you go to the Twitch VODs? You waded the waters of the Twitch VODs, I assume. Yeah. The fucking video was yeah, that's a good point. The text was just like, oh yeah, you know, the the roof of the car exploded or whatever. And then the video, like, FMV style, the whole car just kind of, like, lifts up. Like, the physics don't even look great. But it's dedication. Dedication to catch up on the VODs, to even go to the Twitch VODs to get that. To catch up. To be able to catch up live. It's great. But welcome, as I'm still kind of adjusting a couple things here, to my favorite part of the day lately, these last few weeks. Shibuya Scramble time. Set for another couple hours here, I assume. I say a couple hours, it varies depending on how we finish, where a good stopping point is, just kind of like last night was. My guess is that we'll probably finish out the story hour here, is what it looks like. It looks like I'm on, like, it seems as though I've gotten, if I do like 2-hour chunks, that like 2-hour chunk streams get through like a game's hour, it feels like. At least that's what it seems. Just barely. But yeah, always excited to come back tonight, at night, and do these streams. I'm gonna miss, when this game's over, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss this game a lot. There's something very good about this game. So I take that daily omeprazole to control the stomach acids due to my hernia and stuff. And I don't know if it's because of the coronavirus situation or something, but I had to not pick up the normal kind. Like, they didn't have the normal, like, non-flavored milligram dosage that I take of it at the store, and I had to pick up like flavor coated of the same general store brand of the omeprazole, but it's coated in what they call wild berry mint flavor. And I swear, this is now the second or third day I've taken it, these ones, and the pill is in my mouth for a total of half a second as I just knock it back. But I swear, the taste of it is revolting. Who the fuck wants to take a pill flavored as wild berry mint, which is just unappetizing sounding, honestly, and it's sick, and I can still feel it. I took it right before I kind of started going live here, and I can still like taste it in my mouth a bit. It's gross. It's gross. It's really bad. When I'm taking a pill, I don't want a flavor. I don't want residual berry mint flavor. It's bad. But the way I buy it, I have to buy it in like, it's like 3 14-day like pack thing. It's like the most cost-effective thing for me. So I'm stuck with it for like 6 weeks. It's upsetting. So yeah, 2 hours here tonight. Almost for sure no stream tomorrow night, as I've got standing plans. What the fuck is that on my controller? What the hell is this? I don't know. But we'll be back probably Thursday night. I'll almost for sure be back Thursday night. Probably for more, as I said, more scrambling. And if anything interesting happens at that Sony, well, I'm sure it's going to be somewhat interesting. At least to me. I'm interested in stuff like that. So probably just talk about my thoughts there for a bit pre-stream on Thursday night. PS5 thing. Oh, it only was reminded of that just because right as I was going live, I got like a little Sony update on the PS4. It's like boop, 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 rescheduled, and I'm like, all right, thanks. No, it wasn't even like gamer gunk. My hands don't do that because I'm not weird. I think what it was little black speckles, and I think it's because of the headphones I use. They're kind of old, and they have on the padding part for your ears, like part of the, I don't know what you'd describe it, but not the actual cushiony part, but the little, what is it, the film that they put over the ear things. It kind of like sometimes like fluffs off a bit or something. I don't know how to describe it. Alright, so what's the situation? We've got Achi's done for the hour, which is crazy because it's not even all the way. Well, I mean, it's because the fucking car blew up. A bad ending here. A keep out we'll have to jump to there. Keep out here. And untouched Maria for the hour. Untouched Maria. It's a weird way of saying that. What's the jump here? That guy? I think the play is just to go to Maria. What is this jump? I have to see. Wait, is it in here? It is in here. It's 1525. Minorikawa. Is that because... What was the bad ending here? Oh, something about Miku. Something about Miku. Okay. I forgot that we're gonna be seeing Miku. Okay, I think I just have to do Maria. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I think I went too far back, but... I have like that anal thing where I want to, if I'm starting that new character on the hour, oh, it's gonna put me into the story. Am I gonna be able to choose? I want to, yes, I want to choose the start of an hour of a new character. I want to click on the person. Don't question it. Let's go. Yeah, you smile, Maria. Oh yeah, she's fucking facing off with the cane dude. We're starting heavy here. Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Asawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. He looks like a slightly cleaner Suda 51. Which in turn looks like Wario64 on Twitter. Like a slightly cleaned up. Slightly maybe older even. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Asawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? I don't think it really matters, Maria. Once you're dead, it does not matter. Tell me, am I Hitomi Asawa or not? The man gives me a good, hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun. Okay, now he doesn't really look like much like Suda. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. Ah, I see. So that's what's going on then. Let me just sit in this Coca-Cola crate. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me, at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Asawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Asawa? Is she someone who looks like me? At least fucking Maria can put it together. Fucking dumbass Achi over here. Duh! Oh, does she not recognize me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I going to do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Asawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? It seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. What is he gonna do? It doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. Let's... I'm gonna say... I think A is the better option, but I feel like I should start intentionally picking ones I feel like I get bad vibes from. Like, I feel like I should want to see some of these bad endings, you know? I need to do something about that gun he has and then make a run for it. BAM! Fuck that guy. I pick up one of the crates that are lying around in the alley and hurl at the man with the cane. Then I book it right out of there. Well, that was a decision. I run for a long time without looking back. Oh man, it's right when I start reading that I'm like, I feel the congestedness in me. When I finally do take a peek over my shoulder, there's no sign of the guy following me. It's Miku. Slowing my run to a walk, I notice Miku, the girl I fought for those cases of burning hammer, sitting on a nearby staircase. Hi, Miku. Thanks for earlier, I call out. She gives me a puzzled look. You let me have those diet drinks from the knick-knack shop. Revelation dawns on her face. Cue the music. Oh, right. I didn't recognize you since you're not a cat anymore. What are you doing here? I ask. Just like, you know. She gives me a half-hearted smile. Say, where'd you learn, Aiki Jujutsu? I feel like Miku is, she's troubled after she's lost all sense of self from losing. Huh? The question catches me off guard. I don't know what to say. Your Aiki Jujutsu. Where did you learn it? My Aiki Jujutsu? Now that she mentions it, that's a great question. I mean, I must have learned somewhere or my body wouldn't have moved the way it did back then. I wonder who taught me. Try as I might, though, I can't remember. Miku interprets my silence as a refusal to answer. She lets out an annoyed snort. Huh. What, is it a trade secret? Fine. Then how long did you train? Not that long, I guess? Probably? I'm just trying to avoid telling her I have amnesia, but she obviously thinks I'm being secretive. Why are you avoiding saying you have amnesia? I'm sure Miku understands. I'm sure Miku's like, You know, she says angrily, after losing to you, I've completely fallen apart. I've lost everything. Do you know how that feels? To feel like you've lost hold of the thing that makes you, you? I nod with conviction. I do know. I've lost things too. Like my memory. You do? Well, I just can't take this anymore. I'm having a complete breakdown of identity. Developmental psychologist Eric Homburger Erickson was a key proponent of the concept of self-identity, the ability of individuals to continually and reliably know who they are and what they should do. Thanks. I mean, I'm saying this having lots, God, it's so hard to read this against that background. I'm saying this having lost to you and all, but a long time ago. Oh, do you mind if I tell you some stuff from a long time ago? Flashback, flashback, flashback. Anyway, so a long time ago. And so Miku launches into her story. Yes, I want the Miku backstory, please. Oh, no. Never mind. You think maybe it is for the best if I quit? She asked at last. By now, 15 minutes or more have gone by. Really? I don't think she'd care. If anything, she's just frustrated that I'm like being all secretive or whatever. I would just be like, I don't know. I'd just be like, I'm sure my body obviously remembers it, but I don't actually. Miku seems level-headed, you know? By now, 15 minutes or more have gone by. I've listened to Miku go on and on about her teenage years because I feel bad about getting her so depressed, but yikes. She's asked me all these questions I don't even understand, but although I'm starting to get sort of fed up with her angst, I keep my patience and respond as best I can. If you love doing it, then I don't think you should quit, I tell her. Chances are, if you try to do something else, you're just going to come back to martial arts anyway. Besides, you probably owe it to the person who sent you down this path in the first place. You think so? Maybe you're right. Yeah, you are. Miku's face has regained a measure of cheerfulness. Thanks. I'm gonna keep on practicing more and more so I get stronger. I'm not gonna lose to you next time. Haha, I'll keep that in mind. I've got no interest in fighting her again, but for now I'll keep that to myself. Alright then, see you around. With a parting wave, Miku hops to her feet and heads off. As I watch her leave, a feeling of jealousy wells up within me. Did I once have something I was that passionate about? I don't even know, because I can't remember. I just can't remember. That gunman, the one with the cane, he might know something about me. And at this point, I'm even willing to risk a run-in with a killer to find out more about myself. I decide to head back to where he was before. Go back to the scene of the crime where I beat him with Coca-Cola crate. When I arrive at the alley, though, there's nobody there. Paradoxically, I'm both relieved and severely disappointed. Then I happen to notice something lying on the ground. What is it? It's a picture. I pick it up. It's a notebook. Slipped into the back cover is a photo showing 2 boys and a girl. Huh? Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's this killer out there, and he's after this person named Hitomi Asawa. And then the police would be like, who is that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Heck, it might not even give me the time of day in the first place. Not only do I not have any idea who Hitomi Asawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her. Jesus, except that he walks with a cane. That whose was hidden. I mean, I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro. To and fro. No. I always like feign like I'm disappointed in reaching a keep out. Because I think originally I was like, oh no, I want to see the rest of their story. But it's like, it's fine, I'm gonna see. In some cases, I'm gonna immediately find where the jumping point is, and I'll find it. One of these jump outs are to this, isn't it? Is it this? Yeah. Exactly what I was saying. It's a flip phone, it's a flip phone, flip phone, flip phone, flip phone, flip phone. Wait, that's a good point. Why doesn't Hitomi, why doesn't Hitomi like text Maria? Wouldn't they think Maria still has her phone on her? Or was there some point in the story where they're like, oh, she lost her phone? Or did they try texting her and not get a response? Like, you would assume Hitomi has Maria's number. Am I missing something? Does she have a phone on her? Was all that she had just the cat costume? Also, what kind of thinking is like, oh, I'm not gonna go to the police because they're gonna think I'm crazy? When really, it's just the situation is that you have amnesia. I mean, assuming they're not shitty cops, which, trust me, a big ask. Jesus. They would be like, oh, this is clearly a problem. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're assuming she's kidnapped, but could it hurt to text? I mean, unless they're assuming that it would be bad to text. Or that they just wouldn't be able to. If they're like, oh, if she's kidnapped, then she might not have her phone on her. I don't know. I would at least try it. I would assume someone would have to try it. Eventually, I muster up the energy to start walking around town, heading nowhere in particular. Oh, in last night's stream when I searched Aya Kamiki, as like me being like, is that a real person? And then finding it was, I then, I was at work today, and I opened up the browser on my phone again, and it was still on that tab. And I was like, oh, this happened last night. And I listened to an Aya Kamiki song, and it was not what I was expecting. I think she apparently does a lot of different types of music, and the one I listened to was not what I was expecting from what Sawa was listening to earlier. The billboard outside of a department store displays a poster of some female musician. Who the fuck was she? I don't know. She must be pretty popular, because lots of passersby stopped to take a good look. Am I just imagining things? I feel like I saw this same poster somewhere very recently. Standing underneath the sign is a woman talking on her cell phone. And then, yeah, exactly. And then I was like, wait, this is actually really catchy. And then I joined a forum for old fans. And now I'm married and in an unhappy relationship. Standing underneath the sign is a woman talking on her cell phone. It sounds like she's having an argument with whoever's on the line. I don't want to be nosy, so I just pass on by. Wait, what the fuck? As I come out onto Korondori, that was a very weird little moment there. Korondori, I gradually come to a halt. I'm a little tired from all this aimless wandering around. I let my gaze stray along the street as I consider my next move. Then I catch sight of a blue minivan parked across the street. Oh, fuck. Oh! Suddenly my heart starts pounding. I know this. I know this minivan. If I head over to it, I'm sure I'll remember something. Kaboom. As if pulled by some huge magnet, I make my way toward the vehicle. Fuck! There's a sudden thunderous boom. I'm knocked flat by a blast of energy, and the world goes all topsy-turvy. As I lay in shock, a wave of unfamiliar images fills my mind. Uh-oh. Just getting her memory back. A cloud of whirling dust in some place that isn't Japan. A simple room with unfamiliar architecture. A girl. And I know the girl's name. Kanan. Her name is... Oh, it's fuzzy. On the verge of that revelation, my consciousness fades away. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Kanan, right? That was the whole thing. That was the deal. What? Huh? 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 Hint. Maria arrived on Koendori just in time to get caught in the minivan explosion. If she's going to avoid this fate, she needs to stay away from that vehicle. Someone else's actions can ensure that Hana Toyama crosses paths with her again. Then Maria will talk to her and avoid the minivan. Got it. So that's back in Achi's story. Achi had him scoop up the little girl. It's here, right? It's not this. Surveillance cameras. Yeah. Do not scoop up the little girl. Got it. Looking ahead again, Achi saw that they were bearing down on a young grade school girl. Her head hung in dismay. Achi took a quick leap to one side. Hiya! Look at that leap. That's not much of a leap. Okay, he managed to avoid crashing into her by taking a tumble himself, but the girl was still definitely a bit shocked. Sorry about that, Achi said. Are you alright? But the girl didn't answer or even meet Achi's eye. She just looked around as if in a daze. Was she waiting on someone, maybe? Odd kid, Achi thought. Hope she's okay. Once more, Achi and Hitomi set off running. Was that it? Did I fix it? Let's do the thing. Let's go. Let's not get blown up by the car. No blow. Eventually, I muster up the energy to start walking around town, heading nowhere in particular. Oh, we get to see this again. Yep. The billboard outside of a department store displays a poster of some female musician. She must be pretty popular because lots of passersby stop to take a good look. Oh! Oh! Bish bosh, bish bosh, bish bosh. That's why it was so awkward before. I catch sight of little Hana in front of the billboard. She's showing something to a woman there. Some colorful sheets of paper. A woman looks a lot like the musician in the poster. Moreover, I have the feeling that I've seen her someplace before. So did they get the real Aya Kamiki in this fucking game? And they're like, trust us, it's gonna be a huge game for the Wii Nintendo system. She's like, yeah. Where could I have seen her? Man, having amnesia is really a pain in the ass. I have no way of knowing whether I've forgotten something or had no memory of it in the first place. The woman looks through the papers Hannah held out to her, nodding approvingly at each one, and I can hear her murmur with admiration. Hana! Hana! I wave as I scamper on over to her. As I do, the woman abruptly hurries off. As I approach her, the famous person just runs away for some reason. That's disrespectful to Avril Lavigne. Excuse you. Avril Lavigne is the Avril Lavigne of Japan. Trying to, like, furiously find the fucking... Why won't it? Why can't I? Oh my god. Oh, chat's being weird for me. Oh god. Go. Disperse. Link. The way I did that, maybe not even worth it for the joke. The way the disjointed... That's true. That is true. Still to this day, as someone who finds a lot of conspiracy theories upsetting and very dumb, Avril Lavigne dead replaced conspiracy theory is by far honestly probably my favorite conspiracy theory of all time. It's so good. So good. Hey, we meet again, I say. Hannah just gives me a bored look. Who was that just now? I ask. Oh. I guess I should stay for the archive. So that years from now, people are like, what did he put in chat? I put the link for that Hello Kitty song from Avril Lavigne. Horrid. I don't know. God, this girl's sassy. Hana quickly gathers up her belongings and starts walking briskly away. Oh, hey, wait up! I call out. The girl ignores me. She fucking hates me. She's moving at a jog now, heading from Spanish Hill towards Kondori. Ah! It wasn't that quick. I had to actually, like, find it. I had to, like... I had to quickly type, like... I honestly... There was a split second there where I was like, is the name of the fucking song Hello Kitty? I was like, damn. Fucking... Well, yeah, dude. You would be surprised how quick or how often a link to that YouTube video could come in handy. As she steps out onto Kondori, she trips and falls down hard. Contents of her bag spill out on the road. Oh, whoops. Catching up to her, I gather up some of the fallen pages. What's this? There are poems written on the colored paper. Copies of a prose poem titled The False Monsoon. The poem delicately details the wavering emotions of an adolescent girl. Also, in a clever twist, if the text is read horizontally instead of vertically, it tells about a father's worries over his only daughter, who is now of marriageable age. Hana's genius will soon be discovered by Aya Kamiki, and she will go on to become a popular songwriter. Is that a real world moment? Also, how do you make a poem so expertly laid out that, like, read one way, it's like adolescent girl emotions, and then read just the opposite direction? It's like, oh, it's a detailed story about worries over the marriageable age of the daughter. Mental. A look of embarrassment crosses Hana's face, and she snatches the pages out of my hands. Don't touch those! Those are for sale! For sale? I'm selling poems that I wrote. Oh, wow, that's incredible. She looks surprised by the compliment. Incredible? My friends at school said that they were dumb. That's not true. I only saw a little just now, but I thought it was a really good poem. Oh, that's a good fucking point. Japanese text is a lot, what would be the word I'm looking for? Less stringent, like, word-for-word meanings. I guess that makes sense. I didn't even think of it like that. I'm still baffled. I'm curious if this is like a real-world story where, like, Ayakamiki met a little girl selling poems and was like, you're gonna be my songwriter. You're just saying that. I've been out here in Shibuya for weeks trying to sell these, but the only person who bought one was that lady just now. Hana let out a mournful sigh. Well, what are you out here selling poems for anyway? I thought maybe I'd help pay back our debts. Oh, this is depressing. Huh? Okay, that's not something I'd expect to hear from a little kid. My dad's in real deep, she continues. The topic makes me think of Mr. Yanagashita. Guess today's my day for meeting people mired in debt. I'm only in elementary school, so I can't get a part-time job. Japan's Labor Standards Act prohibits the hiring of children under the age of 15. For certain jobs within the entertainment industry, however, employers can obtain permission from the Labor Standards Inspection Office for younger children to work. In a interesting twist there, they probably had to go to the Labor Standards Inspection Office to get her to be able to act in this video game. But, I'm impressed. She's so brave. She's maybe a little hard to approach, but she is just a kid after all. She's so brave, I just want to give her a hug. Oh, Hannah! I hear a strange wailing call from behind me. Startled, I turn around and see Mr. Toyama standing there, tears streaming from his eyes. Hana! I'm so sorry, I had no idea you were trying so hard to... Toyama rushed up to the girl. Yep, I'm assigning him a voice now. It's quite the emotional father-daughter reunion. Fuck! Or at least that's how it looks until Hana slaps her father across the face with her bundle of papers. What was that for? Don't you give me that. I'm sick of all this running around. It's a happy moment. She delivers several more well-placed smacks with her little craft project. Okay, Toyama says at last. I know you're super upset, but I have to ask you for just one thing. Then we can see about getting through the day, huh? Yeah. Okay, but just one. I can't help but find this ordinary interaction kind of charming. You two get along really well, don't you? I say. Yep. Nope. The two give simultaneous, contradictory replies. Fuck. It's good. Then Hana sullenly starts to walk off, with Toyama tottering after her. It's such a weird little sight that I can't help but laugh. Well, later then. Video! No! Further along Koendori, I come across a car on the roadside that's spectacularly aflame. A group of onlookers surrounds it in a confused uproar. It seems almost unreal, like I'm looking at a set for a TV show or something. I stand there staring into the flames. Huh? What's that? I can see something. The raging heat makes the air shimmer. The scent of dry sand fills my nose. A gust of searing wind tugs at my hair. I don't know. Okay, this is gonna sound really fucking weird. Remember the story arc where fucking Yamayugi fucking learns about his past, about the Middle East and his pharaoh-ness and the fucking Merrick thing where it's like, oh, we were pharaoh protectors, grave protectors, fucking whatever they were called. Not last night, but now we've gotten all these flashes of like, oh, Middle East robes and the desert here, and for some reason I just keep thinking about the stupid Yu-Gi-Oh show. And yeah, they really are blowing out the budget. They're like, all right, we're gonna do explosions, video time. We gotta show the explosion. Where am I? I did a whole big Yu-Gi-Oh rewatch, probably like 2 years ago. Because they were all on Netflix. I was just like, alright, fuck it. And over the course of like maybe a month, just watched that whole fucking thing. Maybe not even 2 years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago or so. It did, didn't it? We have like the wind in the background, and then the first video I saw when I pulled up to do the joke, it was like high quality extended opening theme, and it was like, all right, I guess we're going for this long decaying roads, decaying houses. Because when I first pulled up a video, I was just gonna try to just get the thing where it's just him going, "It's time to," like I was just trying to get that. But then I saw the full opening theme. Decaying houses, a decaying city. And the people who live there. People who live. People who live. People who live. There's someone by my side. Now, the fucking people, I know it's not gonna happen, but it's just going people who live, people who live, people who live. Now I'm being reminded of fucking like Doki Doki Literature Club. I want this game to take a full like 180 and just go into like the whole first half of the game doesn't even matter. It just spins off into this crazy ass. Like, I don't know how I'd feel if this game took like either like a weird supernatural turn. There's someone by my side. Someone is with me watching all of this. It's a girl. The person with me is a girl, slightly younger than me. I'm probably gonna get VOD muted just by that Yu-Gi-Oh clip. I've doomed myself. She says something to me Anna, it's me. Cat's cradle. And the cat's in the cradle that have been a blue. That's my voice now. Cat's cradle? Whose voice was that? What's going on? Who am I talking to? Yeah, cat's cradle. I'm showing someone how to do a cat's cradle with string. But who? Who am I showing how to do a cat's cradle? Kanan. And the cat's in the sun and the silver spoon. The word Kanan echoes in my head. At least I think that's how you would pronounce it. Kanan? I utter the name aloud. Oh, hey, Dis, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Dude, I'm breaking all the rules on stream tonight. Playing a Yu-Gi-Oh clip, VOD mute. VOD mute's for a Cat's Cradle song from the one musical thing. Yeah, I'm a little punchy tonight. So, you've dropped in just at the right moments. Avril Lavigne talk briefly there. It's great. The images floating through my mind are beginning to break up and vanish, but I feel like for a brief moment at least I'd caught hold of the edges of some of my lost memories. That's right. Kanan. As soon as I say it, I'm filled with a powerful sense of duty. There's something I'm responsible for. Something that I needed to do. And if I don't, this Kanan person is going to be in grave danger. Calm down, just calm down. I'm pleading with myself now, fighting the impulse to take off running. If I did, where would I go? I have no idea what my destination or my goal even is. Please, please remember something. Please, please. I gaze out at the flames, practically praying now. Don't move. Ah, shit! A voice hisses in my ear, and I feel something hard press against my back. I don't need to turn around to recognize whose voice it is. I thought you said you didn't have any business with... I did a little thinking, says the man with the cane slowly. About how I might lure out Hitomi Asawa, see? We're back on video. I'm going to use you as bait. Ah, to be continued. So I brought it up. I brought up Doki Doki Literature Club. And I know we're not going to go that far because that would be absolutely bonkers. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously this game is kind of out there. And it's presenting this story, this mystery, right? I'm curious how out there it does get. I'm curious how far down on the path of, like, really out there goes. Like, and I'm not even necessarily saying, like, full-blown, like, sci-fi, like, out there, like a 999 or Virtuous Last Reward or anything. But I'm curious to see, like, if in the second half of this game we get, like, really nutty. I can't tell if that's what this whole Maria kind of storyline with the Kanan person and everything is kind of, like, leading us towards. I guess we'll see. So we're now still sitting out a bad ending and 2 keep outs. Anything is possible.
Let's play Raid.
Oh, no, Raid Shadow Legends. That's not what I meant to do. Fuck, shit, go away.
But these prisoners refused with years.
I have to be careful with that. With all the DMCA takedowns going on. I need to be careful. I need to have conservative use of the Yu-Gi-Oh theme song. Okay, so where the fuck do I go? Yu-Gi-Oh! It's time to duel. I honestly have no idea where I'm supposed to jump to here. I'm lost. The bad ending. The bad ending. Whoa. Okay, so she needs to come into the knick-knack shop, but hadn't run we did. If the MMA fighter Miku comes into the knick-knack shop, she'll interrupt their argument. Was I supposed to make a different choice here? Let me try this. Oh, but just out of curiosity, we'll just probably was headed to the Endo Electronics. It was the only local place you could think of that might buy a second-hand computer. Second-hand? Damn. I think I had led him on a wild goose chase. Norikawa started running toward Dogenzaka. As he approached the scramble outside the station, he caught sight of a skinny figure disappearing into the throng along Center Guy. A suit with deep bluish stripes. There was only one man he knew who dressed like that. But why was he heading down Center Guy and not toward Dogenzaka? Oh, now he remembered. There was a second-hand knick-knack shop near where the Burning Hammer demo had been held. He recalled seeing a poster out front that read, "We buy computers at top prices." Oh, okay, so it's just falling back into it. This isn't helping. That had to be it. That's where Yanagashita was planning on selling his laptop. Changing directions, Minorikawa darted down Center Guy. There you are, Yanagashita. Couldn't say that for some reason there. Minorikawa burst into the shop on Center Guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief. So I'm just... I guess I'll follow it. Listen, there's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details. All you sell here is junk anyway. Yanagashita and shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Norikawa recognized the shopkeeper, this guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier. "That computer belongs to me," Norikawa shouted as he marched up to them. "Give it back." Yanagashita clutched the laptop to his chest. "Nuh-uh, I need the money." "Knock it off, you're acting like a child." Norikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagashita ducked to avoid the blow. And then, bizarrely, Yanagashita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eyes. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer. "That's it!" Yanagashita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on. "Iron stomach, huh? This right here's my little bluebird of happiness," he cried. "You know what? You can have this." Yanagashita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms. "Ha ha ha, and welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no worthless computer." "You're the idiot, Buster." Norikawa smacked Yanagashita right across the face. "Ouch!" Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. Norikawa shoved Yanagashita toward the shopkeeper. "Hand this guy over to the police," he said. "Hey, no, not the police," Yanagashita pleaded. "Can it, you thief. You try to rip me off, and you have no idea how much is riding on my work. You deserve 10,000 deaths. 10,000? Isn't that taking things just a little too far? I'm sorry, already. I give up. Finally, the guy was ready to surrender. Norikawa let his guard down for just a moment. Like hell I am. Switching gears in an instant, Yanagashita took off running at full speed. Yanagashita's the hero we deserve. This again. Get back here, you bastard. Norikawa was already in pursuit. Did I change anything? I don't... Yeah, just get back to the bad ending. What, fuck? There's gotta be another... What is the jump to that guy here? Did I already do this? I'm so lost. I'm like... Yeah, that's not... That's to... But it said... Wait. Run off, you run to tell me, run other guy who's looking for Miku. Don't I need that? 1525. Maybe I pick the other, maybe I pick A? Maybe I'll run. It's worth a shot. Probably he's headed to the sales demo venue. Maybe he was planning to find some more customers and auction the laptop off to them. Damn, guy led him on a wild goose chase. Norikawa ran along Center Guide toward the Nokane building, where the sales demo had been held. Before he got there, however, a glance to one side stopped him in his tracks. Aha! He chirped. He had spotted the knick-knack shop where he'd run into Miku about 2 hours earlier. Out in front of it was a poster that read, "We buy computers at top prices." Now, he was certain, Yanagashita must be in there. There you are, Yanagashita. This is... Norikawa burst in the shop. It's this is... Wait, what? Oh yeah, and then this is the bad end. But... And then it blows up. Are we gonna get the blow up scene again? Ai Kamiki, huh? Could it be? Blah blah blah. And then Shitsuke's sound, bam! Dead. And the best character dies. Or something. This is the first time the game is making me feel dumb. No, that's not true. I felt very dumb reading some of these words. I take it back. Help me, game. Help me help you, game. Something about Miku. Is there... So we have Maria meet Miku. The only other thing that she can do is something here. I don't know. I feel like I very faintly remember what you're talking about. Just very faintly. That was the jump to the sister. It's not gonna be... I'll see, since I can't think of anything else. You can send me the picture if you want on something. The assassin doesn't enter, lets his pistol hang limp. He doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. See, I feel like I just barely remember what you're talking about. I remain motionless, waiting for an opportunity to run away. I may not make it in time, the man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not make it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try to find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Asawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet. Sitting on a pile of crates, he seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare to try to get away. All I can do is, it's getting fuzzy, is stand and wait, and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am... No, I have no business with you. The man finally says. Go. Don't worry. I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard, so he can shoot me in the back. Do not go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. How long is a while? Until around sundown. This should all be over by then. It'll all be over. I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay, I'm going to run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward, starting to turn away when he speaks up again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're going to hate me. And so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it makes me even more uneasy. I truly am sorry. I've got no response to that, so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. Who the fuck is this man? Oh. Okay, maybe I did change the story by just making that. I decided to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realized it, I've made my way back to the knickknack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here. As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Tama, 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 Tama! Oh, shit. There's Mr. Yanagashita on the floor at the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss? Look, this is all just... I was framed. Nah, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for selling stuff he finds around town. Hey, sales clerk steps into view scowling. Just what are you implying? What in the world is going on here? I haven't the foggiest. Tama, help me! Please! I hate it. Yanagashita kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? Sales clerk asks. No. Well, I mean, sorta? He's a real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but could you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police, the government did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I am reluctant to antagonize him. And for reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense I'm going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yanagashita isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. Yeah, that'll work. Tama can take me to the police. And then we can put this all behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. Okay, Mr. Yanagashita says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Now let's go find Chiri. Huh? Aren't we going to the What? No, we're not really gonna go. Oh man, I am so glad you showed up, Tama. Now come on, let's go find Chiri. From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me. It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yanagashita isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. This time I got a line of 10 million yen. So come on, let's go make ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. It's me. He's pointing to me, the listener. Several weeks later, what? Oh no. Iron stomach, a celebration of truly astonishing appetites. Oh, he gets Chiri to do the iron stomach. I stand with Chiri on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Chiri is the champion. She laughs with delight. She holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony kind of grows on you. Even when I was surprised by how much I could eat, and I had to admit it felt kind of good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose. To steal Chiri's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. The throne of gluttony. Tama never got her memories back. She ended up starting a new life on the competitive eating circuit, which may not be a horrible fate, but wouldn't it be better if she recovered her old life as Maria? When she was cornered in the alley by the man with the cane, there's someone who could have turned up and helped her out. Yanagashita. But he can't do that if he ends up getting tied up at the knick-knack shop. So... So then do I stick with this on Maria's timeline? Oh, but then now Minorikawa's thing looks... Alright, back into Minorikawa. Probably used head to a knick-knack shop. Minorikawa recalled seeing one near the burning hammer devil site. also recalled seeing a poster outside the place that read, "We buy computers." Led him on a wild goose chase. That shop was surely where he was going to sell a laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction. There you are, Yanagashita. Norikawa burst into the shop on Center Guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief. So then this is all... Smack. You're the idiot, Buster. Norikawa smacked Yanagashita right across the face. Ouch! Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. Drew back his arm to deliver another blow, but then someone else came into the shop. Yanagashita's eyes lit up as they saw who it was. Oh, my angel! Whatever. Oh no. Whatever is my darling Miku doing here? I don't like this. I don't like it one bit. Miku stood in the doorway, on the verge of tears. Okay, so what a weird combination of things. I had to go back into Maria's story, do the particular thing at the gunman's thing so that I don't run into Miku, because then if I ran into Miku, then Miku doesn't come back here. So then I had to go back, do the Maria thing, change up not running into Miku. Miku then comes here. But then in the Maria thing, we can't have Yanagashita get tied up. So then you have to go back into Minorikawa's storyline here and see Miku get into the knick-knack shop, not distracted by Maria. I'm just surprised I actually trial and error found it out. Okay, Miku stood in the doorway on the verge of tears. Mr. Minorikawa, she began. Then her voice choked up. Miku? What's the matter? Is something wrong? Miku drew in close to Norikawa's side. Huh? Yanagashita's dazed gaze darted back and forth between Minorikawa and Miku. You two know each other? Sort of. More to the point. Is she the girl you said you were in love with? That's right, the one and only Miku. I have her entrance music set as my ringtone. Paying no heed to Yanagashita's excitement. Yep. Horniness. Miku kept her eyes fixated on Minorikawa. I lost to a girl who knows Aiki Jujitsu. I lost. She buried her face in Minorikawa's chest. Yanagashita let out a gasp. What's this about? What is this all about? He seemed on the verge of panic. Mr. Minorikawa, I need to learn Aiki Jujitsu. I feel so ashamed. She buried her face even deeper into Minorikawa's chest. That's so unfair. Just freeze on this for just a couple of seconds. Okay, we're good. Tears in his eyes, Yanagashita darted out the door. Minorikawa glared after the pathetic fellow as he scampered off. Yanagashita. Very problematic. The guy sure knows how to take advantage of a bad situation, I'll give him that, he murmured. I don't even know. Anyhow, is he saying that to Miku? I'm just glad I got my partner back. Ordinarily, he'd be inclined to pursue Yanagashita and subject him to a tirade, at the very least, but there's no time for that now. He explained the situation to the shopkeeper, who flashed a sympathetic smile. Ah, is that so? Lucky for you, he screwed up then. Much as I'm happy to do business, I just can't buy a computer that doesn't come with its accessories. So you'd have bought it from him if he'd had... So you would have bought it from him if he'd had the accessories? Of course! Stolen or not, it's all the same once I have sold it. The shopkeeper chuckled unapologetically. Heh, I suppose that's true. Norikawa laughed along with him. Yeah, all the same. Like hell it is, he roared. Shopkeeper froze like a startled rabbit. I bet everything you have for sale here has been stolen, hasn't it? Don't be ridiculous. I'll warn you up front, there's no use hiding things from me. I've interviewed you. After all, I know you. Shopkeeper was getting more and more flustered. Well, I mean, look, this is just between you and me, okay? Sometimes I go around gathering stuff that people have lost and I sell it here. But it's not stolen, just repurposed. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Shopkeeper smiled ingratiatingly. You moron! Norikawa stuck his finger in the man's face. Wait, there's no closed quotation marks there? So it threw me off because I was like, wait, is he saying Norikawa stuck his finger in the man's face? Oh, and then they don't do the re-beginning, so it's like it's one big quote here. Selling lost property is a serious crime too. It's a potential violation of Article 254 of the Penal Code of Japan regarding embezzlement of lost property, which states, a person who embezzles lost property, drift property, or any other property which belongs to another person is in no one's possession shall be punished by imprisonment with work for not more than a year, a fine of not more than 100,000 yen, or a petty fine. It is? Well, I mean, I guess I sort of figured it might be, sometimes. Well, I'm not the police. I'm more into curiosity and legality. In fact, I find this all pretty fascinating. I mean, what sort of things have you gathered up for sale? Well, let me see, like this, and that, and that, and that. The man pointed to various items on his shelves. And also this, and that, and that, and that, and that, I guess. Norikawa's eyes were directed all over the shop. Lamp. Everything the shopkeeper had pointed out had a hefty price tag. And you're actually able to sell things like this? Norikawa asked. Sure, I can sell stuff. Earlier today, someone bought a big necklace. I listed it for 40,000 yen, but I discounted down to 30,000. And you can still make a profit even offering discounts? Sure, I mean, it was just something I found lying on the ground after all. Norikawa looked back at him. For a moment, he laughed as well. Then his face turned hard. This is no laughing matter, he bellowed. You need to stop what you're doing right here, right away. Otherwise, you're going to find out what it's like to get punished by my pen of justice. Pen of Justice. That's a video title name. I'm sorry. The shopkeeper bowed repeatedly. Norikawa glared. The truth was that right now he was so busy he'd have to let this guy slide. Still, this whole asinine affair had eaten up a big chunk of time he didn't have to waste. He was going to have to finish up his copy back at the editing office. Laptop in hand, he left the shop, only to stop short when a slight figure stepped out in front of him. What are you doing, Miku? Mr. Norikawa! Miku stood there, barring his path. Please, introduce me to a dojo where I can learn Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sorry, I really don't have time for this right now. Norikawa tried to hurry onward, but she stubbornly refused to let him pass. You introduced me to that other dojo before, remember? I suppose so, now that you mention it. He tried to slip by her on her right-hand side, but she was quick to block him. Oh, she's crying! Don't upset her! Norikawa! Don't make her upset. You're the one who introduced me to the world of martial arts, Mr. Norikawa. Well, yes, you know you're putting me in a bit of a bind here. Trying to slip by on her left was a no-go too. She could anticipate his every move. Please, just hear me out, Miku said. She was speaking through quiet sobs now. I can't stand to leave things like this. She looked Norikawa right in the eye. Oh no. Choices. No, fuck that. I'm not gonna be a rude asshole. Not to Miku. Okay, this is bad. Just good enough to for you. You find something to do with yourself that isn't martial arts? No. I don't know. This also sounds like a bad choice. Sorry, you'll just have to persevere until you're able to win again. It's something you need to do yourself. But you were the champion at that one pub, right? Maybe your mistake was thinking that you'd be able to win in an actual for-real fight. Miku began to tremble. Smack! You jerk! Miku delivered a blindingly fast slap to Minorikawa's cheek. Why'd you have to put it like that? You're so mean! Bursting into tears, Miku ran off. Hey, Miku! She gave no sign she'd heard him, and didn't turn around. Minorikawa rubbed his cheek. It stung. For once, he actually regretted what he said. Shit, go back. Maybe you shouldn't have assumed she'd be willing to just give up her hobby. He did in fact know of several Aiki Jiu-Jitsu dojos. If only he had the time, he could have introduced her easily enough. Checking his watch, he saw that he only had 30 minutes and change until 4 o'clock. There was no more wiggle room at this point. These articles needed to get written, and fast. He needed to get back to the editing department. And yet... Oh, damn it all to hell. Can't get work done like this. Norikawa broke into a run. But he didn't run for Heaven Publishing. Instead, he went after Miku. Yeah! Norikawa, best guy. Miku, best girl. Teaming up to be the best pair. Wait, did that clear out all these keep outs? Wait, that's keep out, keep out. Or no, this was at a to be continued. These were at... Huh. Huh, everyone's story opened back up. Okay, so all these storylines that had kind of ended at like the fucking minivan blowing up are like back open up, it looks like. Interestingly enough. Now let's go into Kano then. Since I think we had went to his story first. BAM! Suddenly a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Kano thought. That's no ordinary city noise. A column of black smoke rose up from between two nearby buildings. Passerby stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. A video! I think we saw this already before, though. Oh, it's the loud noise. It's the loud fire burning noise. Then Connor saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Several people are on the grounds nearby, evidently injured by the detonation. Mr. Minorikawa! Mr. Minorikawa! A high school-aged girl was crying. What the fuck? Clinging tightly to a man who'd been caught in the blast. Connor recognized her as the girl he talked to earlier during the traffic jam. The man looked like he might still be alive. Connor hurried over to them. Police! He announced. Blood was streaming from the man's mouth. What the fuck happened? He went to Miku and then got blown up by the vehicle? That's the canon story here? Blood was streaming from the man's mouth. He clearly suffered some internal damage. Hang in there, buddy, Connor told him. Stay with us. The man's face twisted up in pain, but somehow he managed to croak out a few words. Connor let out a gasp. The man's voice was almost too weak to hear, but what he said still shook Connor to the core. This man knew something important. Something crucial to the investigation. What did he say? Yeah, there was definitely like a repeating like sound. It's like that old like SpongeBob, my leg. Basically. Rescue vehicles arrived on the scene, and the wounded man was promptly loaded into a stretcher. When he was placed inside the ambulance, Kano flashed his badge at the paramedics and got in alongside him. The man had already fallen unconscious. Kano didn't know when he'd wake back up, but he knew he needed to hear what the guy had to say. He sensed that the stranger was the key to unlocking the entire case. The fuck? How? What happened? Though Kano kept a lonely vigil, the man never woke again. The antiviral that had been given to Hitomi, the blue minivan Al Karawan told Hitomi to look for, and now the minivan exploding. Kano was sure this man had known how all of these tied together. But now, the key to solving the case was gone for good. Wait, what? Just when I think I've set everything on the right path. Kano tried to get information from a man who was caught in the explosion, Minorikawa, but he arrived too late. If Minorikawa hadn't been caught in the blast, things would have gone differently for Kano. At 15:30, somebody shouts something, and depending on what they shout, both Kano's and Minorikawa's fates may change. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That just means someone else's story at 15:30. That's fine at bad ending. This is a keep out. This is probably going to be like a last thing. This will probably be the last thing of the hour. Will probably get unlocked. That's what my guess is. Either Maria or Achi, someone yells something. Going back to the surveillance cameras. Achi, please, Tomi urged. Stop messing around and let's look for the minivan. Okay. Right, my bad. Hachi switched over to a different camera. He continued switching views, scanning the streets of Shibuya, but there was no sign of a blue minivan anywhere. Still, they remained glued to the monitor. Oh, that's me. Tomi took out her cell phone. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Yeah, it was about time for my mood to take a dip, Achi thought. What? Tomi blurted. She looked up from her phone. Achi, Mr. Tanaka found the minivan. He what? What does he say? Read it to me. Okay. I ran after it, but wound up losing sight of it. It was heading toward Jinan. That's what he says. What about your sister? Was she inside? He doesn't say. I switched over to an array of surveillance cameras near Jinan. The few seconds the transition took felt agonizingly slow. Finally, 4 new images popped up. Achi quickly enlarged one of them. Ah! Tomi let out a tiny gasp. There on the monitor was the blue minivan. There was no doubt about it. Achi and Tomi rushed from the building, speeding toward Jinan in an all-out run. Neither spoke, they simply dashed along in silence. Achi felt as if they'd been running a marathon and the finish line had finally come into view. They hooked a left at the station and darted past the Cebu department store. Aha! Hachi pointed as he came to a stop. The blue minivan was still there, parked by the curb along the slight hilly incline. Leaving Achi behind, Tomi started rushing up the hill. Oh no, are we gonna fucking see the... I can't! Alarm bells started going off in Achi's mind. Someone from the kidnapping crew was in that van. It was dangerous to approach carelessly. Do I just pick what I had picked before? Like... Stay back! Don't get too close! Hachi shouted. But she didn't appear to hear his cries. The hope of rescuing her sister had driven all else from her mind. Hachi started to run after her. Hitomi had reached the vehicle already. She brought her face close to one of its windows, but the tinted glass obscured the view inside. Hitomi circled around to the minivan's other side. Hachi saw her grasping at the door. She slipped out of his view for just a moment. The video! No! I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. There was a thunderous explosion, and a gout of flame tore the roof. It tore the roof off the minivan, like it was made of aluminum foil. Hitomi. Horrified, Hachi charged through roiling smoke, searching for Hitomi. He saw two figures sprawled on the street, several meters from the van. Oh yeah, we've all seen this. Hitomi and Kanan. Hitomi, wake up! Hachi cradled her in his arms, and her eyes drifted open faintly. This isn't... Oh yeah, and then it hits to be continued, so... Is it just making me hit those because I corrected some of the other storyline things? I guess. I'm sorry. It's upsetting. Okay, so there, keep out, bad end, to be continued. Alright, let me get hit into Maria's. I'll see if... The assassin has gone quiet. Sitting on a pile of crates, he seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare to try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am... Tama! I am... Oh, this is... I am Tama Hitomi. Hitomi? Tama? None of the above. Fuck it. None of the above. None of those fit me at all. I turn at the sound of an exuberant voice and see Mr. Yanagashita running my way, flailing his arm in a friendly greeting. I swear this guy could wind up banished to the pits of hell and he'd still give it his all, day in and day out. Oh, thank goodness, it is you, Tama, I knew it! The man with the cane grumbles something incoherent, then holsters his gun and flees the scene. Huh? Now you're with some middle-aged guy? You look so sweet and innocent, but I guess you kinda get around, huh? Jesus. Okay, so this is storyline corrected because Yanagashita got away at the knick-knack shop and didn't get tied up and didn't get bogged down there, so he's just running, I guess. Boss, nice timing. I do a little fist pump. Pump. Not bump. Whatever he's doing here, I'm glad he drove off that guy with the gun. What are you so happy about? Yanagashita gives me a puzzled look. But he's promptly distracted by his own excitement. Well, anyway, never mind that, Tama. He shifts down to a conspiratorial whisper. You know, I'm such an idiot. Ain't that the truth? I can't believe I was in such a tizzy over some silly scratch card from a magazine. I can tell he has news he's itching to tell me. Did something happen? Well... brings a hand to his mouth and giggles unsettlingly. I had a great little idea. A great way to strike it rich. I feel like I've heard this from you before. Mr. Yanagashita shakes his head fervently. This time it's different. We're talking way more digits than before. Now, try not to be too surprised, yeah? Spittle flies from his mouth as he rattles on. Or, it's okay to be surprised, actually. In fact, I'm guessing you're definitely gonna be amazed for this time, Tama. I can practically see the banknotes dancing in his eyes. Cut to the chase already. What is it you want to tell me? This time, get this. I got a line on 10 million yen. He thrusts his index finger skyward, grinning ear to ear. Surprised now? Yeah, you are. And it doesn't require any capital. It's no risk, high return. In the world of equity investment, a wise investor weighs risk against the potential for return. Many heavily risky projects, however, yield little in the way of actual returns. Such cases are called high risks, low return. The inverse, low risk, high return, is quite rare. The idea of no risk, high return is simply absurd. Great. There's a crazy gleam in his eye. Oh man, I'm finally gonna get to be part of Billionaires Club. It's so ridiculous I don't even have a snappy retort for it. Never mind that 10 million obviously wouldn't make him a billionaire. It's math. By the way, you haven't seen Chiri, have you? We're gonna need her help to wrap up this 10 million yen. Chiri? No, I haven't run into her since the sales demo. Oh, darn. Well, if you do happen to see her, tell her to get in touch with me. Sure, alright. I still don't know what he's going on about, but there's probably no harm in being helpful. Thank you, Tama. Guess I may as well give you a little hint. A hint? Yeah, a hint. Wanna hear it? Yeah. Oh, sure. Thank you. Well, then, I guess I've got no choice. When you put it that way, I just have to tell you. Mr. Yanagashi clears his throat and proceeds to declaim in an affected tone. When the mighty stomach triumphs over the endless cavalcade of icebergs, the hero shall be blessed with fame and fortune. I like this. Huh? The heck's that supposed to mean? He looks inordinately amused at my confusion. It's part of a legend. You only need to remember that one verse for now. You're going to bear witness to history. I feel like this guy's right out of some kind of story himself. Yep. Anyway, thanks for helping me out there with the cheery thing. Adios. Spanish for goodbye. The true meaning is closer to the English farewell. In day-to-day interactions, most Spanish speakers use the word ciao. That is correct. Adios can carry the connotation that you do not expect to see the addressee again. Yes. It's a bit more formal. And then, like a whirlwind, Mr. Yanagashita zooms away, leaving me alone in the alley. Zoom. Whew. Suddenly I feel totally exhausted. I let out a sigh and drop my eyes, and that's when I noticed a notebook on the ground at my feet. Did the assassin drop this? Pick it up and look inside. Oh, it's this fucking thing. There's a photograph tucked inside the back cover. It shows 3 young people, 2 boys and a girl. Mystery. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? Okay, so then it goes... Alright, so then we set the to be continued there. So that's all good. That's keep out, that's keep out, this is bad. So someone shouts something at 5:30. It wouldn't be that. Is it the Achi thing? Because it says someone shouts something at 15:30. Is it this what he yells near the van? But I don't think how that would change. Dum bada bum 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 bada bum bum bum. Might as well. Because this has been. Didn't appear to hear his cries. Hope we're raising its sister. Oh, we're gonna have to fucking watch this video again. I'm sorry. Close your eyes. It's upsetting. Good. There's the hit me thing. Kano tried to get information from a man who was caught in the explosion. Minorikawa would be arrived too late. If Minorikawa hadn't been caught in the blast, things would have gone differently for Kano. At 15:30, somebody shouts something, and depending on what they shout, both Kano's and Minorikawa's fates may change. Miku. No, it grows more upsetting every time. What the fuck am I? Where? 15:30. 15:30. Someone says something at 15:30. Is this keep out for this? Is that what's going on here? Was this the answer all along? No, oh my god. Dumb, I'm a dumb. Okay, running along Koendori in pursuit of Miku. Minorikawa heard a cell phone ringtone coming from somewhere nearby. This fucking ringtone. Harbinger of bad news. Fuck! This is like the cursed hour of this game, where I just have to keep playing certain moments of the game, and it's like different viewpoints, different videos, different stills, different photos of people getting blown up by this one particular van, and I just have to keep replaying certain moments to try to get the storyline correct, and it's just, again, it shouldn't be as funny as it is. It's a van being blown up and people being injured, and yet here I am laughing at all these videos of like mid-quality, just suddenly a massive fiery blast knocked him from his feet. A deafening roar set his head throbbing. What was that? What's going on? He lay in a daze on the ground, trying to wrap his mind around what had just happened. He smelled the foul scent of burning rubber. Then came a sound of quick footsteps rushing up to him. Mr. Minorikawa! The van, the blue minivan, is the true villain of the story. Voice called out to him, as if across an impossible distance. Mr. Minorikawa! Was that Miku? He forced his eyes open and saw Miku looking anxiously down at him. I like Miku's hair. I like the flared out, like, and the coloredness to it. Also, real talk, speaking of hair, my hair almost is starting to look like Miku's hair, just because of how long it's getting. Quarantine hair has been getting to me, and I feel like every day I have to go to work, I'm just getting judged. I'm like, I'm not going to a hair cutting place. You're gonna have to deal with me looking even worse than I normally do. Mr. Minorikawa! Miku. Those things I said earlier. I'm sorry. I went too far. What are you talking about? That's not important right now. Mika choked back a gasp. Norikawa realized he had blood leaking from his mouth. His body wouldn't move and his mind was reeling. What happened? Tell me. Mika's voice was dry and hoarse. That's what I'm saying. I'm rocking. Like, here's the thing. I don't even look at a mirror to, like, actually see how long my hair is in the back. Like, I know once I truly see how long my hair is in the back, I'd be horrified. But I can feel it. Like, obviously I can just feel it touching, like, the top of my back and everything. And I'm like, yup, this is it. And, like, we're starting to reach triple-digit weather here in Texas. And so, like, if I'm outside for just a few more minutes, it starts, like, flaring up towards the thing. Towards the ends. I don't even know anything about hair. But it starts doing that thing where it curls a bit. At this point, I might as well just let it I'll just get, like, go, like, ponytail length and just rock that for a while. Mika's voice was dry and hoarse. There was a minivan. It exploded. Exploded? A minivan exploded on a city street? That sounded like a terrorist act. His reeling mind drifted back to the attempted bioterrorist attack on Kasumigaseki 2 years earlier. An unoccupied minivan had exploded outside an MPD station, and afterward a device meant to scatter a dangerous biological agent had been discovered near the subway. With sudden clarity, Minorikawa recalled what Asawa had said earlier. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here. Could there be some sort of connection between Asawa's warning and this explosion? There was. There had to be. Minorikawa's journalistic intuition told him it must be true. Something terrible was underway here in Shibuya. Police! A man in a suit announced. He crouched beside Minorikawa and gently lifted his head and torso. Hang in there, buddy. Stay with us. The change of position allowed Minorikawa to clear his airway, and he sucked in a deep breath. Ooh. Ow. Jesus. But as he did, an intense pain shot through his lungs. I think I might be done for. Whatever his intuition might be telling him, it didn't look like he'd ever be able to write about it. But if he couldn't get his words onto the page, the least he could do was tell someone else. They don't have the balls to kill Minorikawa, do they? Like... no. With his last act, maybe he could still accomplish something. He strained to get a few words out. Asawa. Kenji Asawa. The power balance of the entire world. As his voice failed, he heard the sound of ambulance sirens approaching. Paramedics began frantically unloading stretchers. Turning his head, he saw a number of other people who'd been injured in the explosion laid out on the roadside. Amongst them were a woman and a child. Emergency workers bearing a stretcher came over to Minorikawa. Forget about me. I'm beyond helping. See to the others instead. Minorikawa shouted inwardly, but no one heard. That's a good point. They gotta finish the gossip mag. Norikawa chased Miku as far as Koendori, only to be caught in the blast when the minivan suddenly exploded. A few simple words can change his fate. Someone who shouts something at 1530 needs to change what it is they shout. If Norikawa hears something that grabs his attention, he may not get too close to the explosion. Fuck. So then I do have to go back. Well, at least I know what that is. I assume, again, it's this. I assume it's approaching the van. So now I go back here. bells going off in his head. Hitomi, wait! Achi shouted. But she didn't appear to hear the cries. Oh no, we gotta fucking... No, we gotta do the van video again! This is a certain ring of hell where you're just watching videos of the van get blown up. This is so good. Okay, we've corrected. We've corrected. We're correcting. This hour is all about correcting storylines up the wazoo. The most gamey this game has ever felt. It's so good and so bad at the same time. Hitomi, wait! As he ran along Koendori after Miku, Minorikawa heard someone shout out a familiar name. Hitomi? It was a pretty common name. Ordinarily, he wouldn't have given it a second thought, but he remembered that one of the Miss Midoriyama winners was named Hitomi Asawa. That made him curious. Please, don't blow the van up again. Oh, God. A moment later, he heard a cell phone ringtone. Please give me a slightly different view of this van blowing up. Please, add it to the collection. Get me a compilation video of all me playing this video and all the different videos of the van blowing up. He immediately recognized it as an Aya Kamiki song. Actually, no joke, my hair looks just like Minorikawa's here right now. Although my the back of my hair is maybe just slightly longer. But that on the sides, like how it's the sides and it's like draping over his ear and everything, this is literally like in the front even, this is what my hair is doing right now. Just maybe just ever so slightly longer in the back. But that's like it to a T, how basically how like layered and thick it is in the back, and then on the sides as well. Miya Minorikawa, best character. I love how Minorikawa is a linchpin to this whole story. He's the one who's figuring out this mystery. His reporter's instincts tingled. He stopped to take a look around, and one young woman caught his eye almost immediately. Just snooping around in the van. He couldn't assume that any pretty girl he saw was Miss Midoriyama. After all, it'd be a little too convenient if he just so happened to run into her now. Still, it didn't cost him anything to ask. Are you Hitomi Asawa? He might as well at least check. But to his own surprise, he hesitated in embarrassment. He'd never been too embarrassed to ask a question before. He didn't get a chance to contemplate that realization. Fuck! Oh my god, that was so sudden. Yep. A massive fiery blast knocked him from his feet. A deafening roar set his head throbbing. What was that? What's going on? He lay in a daze on the ground, trying to wrap his mind around what had just happened. Behind him, there was a minivan fiercely ablaze. Now I just read the word minivan and I break into laughter. God, a minivan. An explosion. The first thing to pop into his mind was the attempted bioterrorist attack on Kusumigaseki 2 years earlier. An unoccupied minivan exploded outside an MPD station, and afterward a device meant to scatter dangerous biological agent had been discovered near the subway. In the end, no one had been harmed, but there were rumors that the government had paid a terrorist organization a hefty sum to keep it that way. Right now, Minorikawa was a stone's throw from the Shibuya precinct. Could this be a repeat of the Kusumigaseki attack? The entire area was in an uproar. People were running around in panic. Norikawa could see several injured people lying on the ground, unmoving. And yet, despite the gravity of the situation, numerous onlookers were casually taking photos with their cell phones. Norikawa got to his feet, then went to try to get everyone away from the scene of the explosion. Hey, you guys, get back! There could be another bomb! Norikawa looked around as he pushed back the crowd. He was getting the strong whiff of a scoop. He needed to write his copy ASAP, but he couldn't turn his back on the situation now. Two young men were strolling toward the burning vehicle. They had the look of juvenile delinquents. Whoa, what the heck? Is this for real? Ain't this dangerous? Like, for serious? Oh, look at these bros. The pair tried to find an optimal vantage point. Hey, Norikawa snapped, don't get any closer. He spread his arms wide to hold him back. The young men came to a halt, but otherwise paid him no heed. Oh, this is bad. This is for real bad. Think this is a terrorist thing? Yo, get out your phone. Come on. But like, you think this is a terrorist thing? Dude, shut up. Just hurry up and call Susumu. The taller of the two, dressed in red, was ordering around his blue-clad companion. Huh? The boy in blue huffed. Man, do it yourself. Say what now? Bitch, this ain't no time to get yourself all worked up. Norikawa stood there, arms still held wide, getting more and more annoyed at their back and forth. Yo, just make the call, man. The young fellow in red scowled. He wasn't going to back down. Huh? Yo, what difference does it make if I do it or you do it? It doesn't make any difference. It don't matter if you do it. Yeah, right. It don't matter. So in that case, you do it. Look, I'm telling you, just make the damn call. And I'm telling you to just make it your damn self. Oh, enough of this already. Norikawa opened his mouth to tell them off. But then the young man in red spoke again. Dude, the goods from over at Endo Electronics are gone. You gotta let Susumu know. The name Endo Electronics caught Norikawa's attention. Huh? Yeah, but ain't that all that Achi dude's fault? For getting all huffy at us? I mean, it was Kiryu who told us to go find the Endo storehouse. Yeah, but Susumu don't like dealing in stolen goods. Says it dirties the SOS name. Well, what a coincidence. Looked like these two were SOS members. Hey, Norikawa called out, you two. Finally succeeded in getting their attention. Where's this Susumu fellow? I'd like to talk to him. He had no idea who Susumu was, having only heard the name just now. Still, from the way the two were talking, it seemed clear he held some position of leadership. You think I'd tell you if I knew? The fellow in red snarled. Norikawa kept his composure. Listen, you guys know the Tenryu Gumi. The Tenryu Gumi was a Yakuza syndicate that operated in Shibuya. It's an up-and-coming Yakuza syndicate turned up on the scene 10 years ago. With the seemingly legitimate Takarada financing as its business front, the group offers monetary solutions for people in financial trouble. Those who accept their offers soon find that the troubles only grow and grow. Embroiled in conflict with the Kanto Shiramine Gumi, who have long been established in Shibuya. These street kids were sure to be familiar with the name, if nothing else. I may not look it, but I'm in pretty tight with the Tenryu Gumi. And maybe you two don't know it, but Susumu's been showing up at their office a lot lately. Susumu's been dealing with the Yakuza? Whoa, for real? Sweet! The two punks bought. Just making up words again. The two punks bought it completely. What's Wes using as their hangout these days? I've got a little something to discuss with Susumu. Right now it's this bar called Inferno. Norikawa made a mental note of the name. Right. And Inferno is where exactly? Two young men suddenly looked distinctly uncomfortable. Uh-oh. Later. Yeah, I got a thing I gotta do too. Backing away, they took off through the crowd. Hey, wait up! I need to know where Inferno is. But the pair had already vanished. Nice. Ambulances began arriving at the scene and paramedics rushed out to tend to the wounded. Excuse me, would you mind answering a few questions? Norikawa turned to see a man in a suit approach him, flashing his badge. So, a detective with questions for him, huh? How about you answer a few questions for me? Was this an accident or an attack? We still don't know many details. Let me rephrase that for you. This is a major incident, Norikawa exclaimed. Huh? The detective looked pretty flummoxed. I've been around the block a few times, and I know all your police PR lingo. And when you start talking about the details as 100% indicative of a major incident. Brushing aside Norikawa's remark, the detective tried another question. Did you happen to notice anything unusual prior to the explosion? Unusual? Norikawa thought back to the moments before the minivan blew up. Now that you mention it, I think I heard a cell phone ringtone. The detective tilted his head. A ringtone? No, never mind, forget that. There's no way the ringtone on someone's phone would be audible through all that. Norikawa struck the thought from his own mind as he said it. In all likelihood, he'd associate the ringtone and the explosion simply because one had happened right before the other. Kano. Kano! Large-statured Caucasian man had called out to the detective. Evidently, the detective's name was Kano. Thank you for your cooperation, he said with a bow. Then he ran over to the foreigner. Simply because one had happened. Oh, shit. Okay, Mr. Norikawa. Norikawa turned at a female voice behind him. He found Miku standing there. She looked like she'd been crying. Miku, about earlier, He trailed off, searching for an apology. It's okay. It doesn't matter right now. Miku looked around the scene. Norikawa followed her gaze. Something big went down here, he said. I know, she exclaimed. The explosion. I saw it happen with my own eyes. You what? Miku looked around nervously. Are you alright? He asked her. You're not hurt, are you? I'm okay. My ears are still ringing a bit, is all. Good. So, what did you see at the time of the explosion? Miku assumed a thoughtful expression. There was this girl who was running toward the minivan. And then I think I saw this other Middle Eastern girl suddenly make a dive for her. And then the van just exploded. Wait, hold on, Norikawa said. So if I'm getting this right, it sounds like this Middle Eastern girl saved the girl who was running up to the van. Miku nodded. Just then, Norikawa's phone chimed. He's received an email. It's from Chiaki. Oh, fucking Chiaki. We haven't heard from her in a long ass time. Mr. Mino, are you still working on your copy? He checked his watch. At this point, the 4 o'clock deadline was barely 20 minutes away. Nonetheless, he decided to stay at the bomb scene. He could definitely smell a scoop here. He was sure of it. Even if he couldn't get his 6 pages done by 4, landing a major scoop should be enough to persuade the loan company. Norikawa jotted his phone number down and handed it to Miku. I'll make things up to you, he said. Give me a call later. Miku took the scrap of paper, puzzled. If you're looking for an Aiki Jujutsu dojo, I know of you. At that, her face lit up. Good guy, Norikawa. Norikawa decided to process the scene for clues. As he wandered around, he caught sight of Detective Kano and his Caucasian colleague, heading down an alley. What's that I smell? Something pretty damn fishy. If they were slipping away for a private conversation, maybe there was some way he could listen in. Norikawa hurried into one of the buildings that bordered the alley. He looked around and found a public bathroom upstairs on the alley side of the building. Hoping beyond hope, he slipped up to the bathroom window. Voices outside. He held his breath and listened. Those international criminals you mentioned? Connor's words were faint, but he could make them out. Norikawa did a little fist pump. Correct. Roughly 8 hours ago, they infected Maria Asawa with the Ua virus. Then, they let her loose somewhere in Shibuya. Hold on. By Ua, you mean... The discussion involved some terms Norikawa wasn't familiar with. He focused all his mental energy on what the two were saying. This is a killer virus with a 100% mortality rate once it takes hold. 100%? Norikawa muttered to himself. The shock caused him to unclench the fist he didn't realize he'd made. This wasn't just an interesting conversation. It was monumental. It has an incubation period of 12 hours. In another 4 hours, Maria Asawa will go symptomatic. After that, she'll begin spreading the virus through the city. It's capable of airborne transmission. If we don't administer Kenji Asawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms, yes, everyone in Shibuya is going to die. Going to die. Murakawa felt goosebumps rise all over his body. If they were talking about a virus and a Kenji Asawa, they could only mean that Kenji Asawa. He recalled what Asawa had said earlier about the power balance of the world being at stake. There was no doubt about it. This was a tremendous scoop. Well, then we need to find Maria Asawa and get the antiviral to her as soon as possible. Just calm down. There's more to this story than... it's starting to leak out. The door swung open loudly and someone came barging into the bathroom. What the fuck? It was Yanagashita. Why him again? Why hear of all voices? Oh, I'm leaking here! Yanagashita was on the verge of hysterics. His voice must have been audible outside. Kano and his companion went to take their discussion elsewhere. And they'd just been getting to the good part. You son of a bitch! Enraged, Minorukawa grabbed Yanagashita and tossed him to the floor. Don't touch the toilet like that. That's no good. In a public bathroom? That's no good. No good. I'm leaking! Shut your mouth! He put all of his strength into an ankle hold and gave it a good twist. It's a professional wrestling technique that involves grabbing the opponent by the ankle. Being caught up like this can be extremely painful. It also puts a lot of pressure on the lower body. And if you're already fighting the urge to urinate, well... Yanagashita wailed. We're hitting that 2-hour mark, but I feel like, especially since we're not streaming tomorrow night, I need to hit everyone. I need to hit the finale of this hour here for everyone. So we'll be going for a bit, it seems. Minorukawa left the idiot blubbering in the bathroom and hurried out of the building. He hadn't heard the whole discussion, but he had a scoop on his hands anyway. This would be a tremendous score for Heaven Publishing, enough to let the company rebuild. He was certain of it. And if I'm the one saying it, it's gotta be true. As he ran along... And of course, right when I say that, I'm going for it. I start yawning. Okay, as he ran along, Minorukawa tried to plan his next steps. First, he had to get back to the editing office. He'd explain the situation to the people from the loan company. Then he'd go find that paperwork for Asawa and have Chiaki check his copy. And then, after that... Okay, so he still had a lot of things he needed to do. He swabbed himself on both cheeks to get himself psyched up. His phone rang. It was Chiaki. Mr. Mino? Something terrible has happened. Chiaki's voice was a broken yelp. Whoa, calm down. Over on Kondori, this minivan exploded. Yeah, I'm well aware. Thanks for that. I've got a big scoop that... Chiaki cut him off. Just now, I got a call from Mr. Toyama's daughter, Hana. This time, Minorukawa waited for her to finish. He had a sinking feeling. She said that Mr. Toyama was in there. It was a suicide. Oh boy. Norikawa's knees buckled. Tell me you're joking. No, I mean the van explosion is all over the news. And Hana was in tears on the phone and... Mr. Mino? Mr. Mino, are you still there? Chalma had... killed himself? Minorukawa felt the energy drain from his body. Damn. Slapped with the to be continued. Yee. Alright. So there's a to be continued. There's the to be continued. There's a to be continued. Okay, we'll hit right, jump into Kano's story. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. I feel like we'll be able to finish out the hour here. So I'll be right back. Stay hydrated. Forgot to unmute myself there. Kaboom again. Possibly the last time we'll see this minivan explode. Or catch reference of it exploding. Suddenly a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Connor thought. That's no ordinary city noise. Calm black smoke rose up from between two nearby buildings. Passerby stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Yeah, run, Stanley. Run, Kano. Stanley runs so awkwardly. Then Connor saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Shibuya Precinct wasn't too far from here. Connor recalled the attempted bioterrorism attack on Kasumigaseki. That incident had begun with a van exploding outside the Tokyo MPD station. Already a large crowd of onlookers was gathering. Shouts was up to the Tokyo scene. What's going on? What happened? That car's on fire. Connor called in HQ, then quickly slipped around to the back of the burning vehicle. It was a minivan. Peering at the flaming chassis, he could see that there was someone inside. Oh no, could that be a Tomi? Once they had their hands on the antiviral, criminals would have no further use for Tomi Asawa. Already the body had been charred to ash. At this point, it was hardly recognizable as human anymore. Fuck. What? Oh, I gotta make it official. I think I just gotta have to... What is it? Is it... Here? Jump right on back. Several people were on the ground nearby, evidently injured by the explosion. A girl in a hoodie was crouched among them, doing her best to tend to their injuries. It's Miku! Marita, while walking along, upset at Minorikawa for not introducing her to an Aiki Jujutsu dojo. She happened across the aftermath of the minivan explosion. Unable to stand idly by when faced with such a horrific scene, she pitched in as best she could to help the wounded. Kano recognized her as the girl he'd talked to earlier during the traffic jam. Police, he announced. Get back, let me handle this. The girl was visibly relieved. Help her, she said. She pointed to a figure lying on the sidewalk a short distance from the burning minivan. It was a Middle Eastern girl. She appeared to be unconscious. I think she got hurt rescuing another girl, about college age, the girl in the hoodie said. A college age girl? That might be Hitomi. What happened to the girl she saved? Kano asked. The Good Samaritan looked around. Huh? Where'd she go? The rescuee had disappeared. This girl here, the girl in the hoodie, gestured toward the fallen girl. I can't believe how fast she was. She spoke with a hint of awe. The way she moved to get to that other girl, she was on a level way beyond mine. We're saying the word girl just a bit too much in these past 2 pages. Kano took another look at the injured girl. Her figure looked rather delicate. It's a girl. Her girly figure looked rather girly delicate. Girl. It was so hard to believe she was capable of great feats of athleticism. He started toward her, but Stanley stepped ahead of him. Leave this one to me, he said. His expression was unusually stern, even for him. Do you know her? Kano asked. The American didn't answer as he checked the girl's pulse and then her pupils. Hey, Stanley, don't you have other things you should be doing? Stanley snapped. Fine then. Kano decided to collect some eyewitness accounts. Asshole Stanley. Patrol cars and ambulances arrived at the scene in a steady stream. Once the vehicle fire was under control, things gradually began to calm down. Several officers worked to cover the area around the burned minivan with a blue tarp. Kano got his questioning underway, starting by flashing his badge at a man near the front of the crowd. Excuse me, would you mind answering a few questions? The man puffed himself up. How about you answer a few questions for me? Was this an accident or an attack? We still don't know many details, Kano admitted. The man shoved his finger in Kano's face. Let me rephrase that for you. I love how you only get the jabby, pointy finger sound when you're playing as Minorikawa. But of course, Kano wouldn't hear that from his perspective. It's good. Let me rephrase that for you. This is a major incident. Huh? I've been around the block a few times, and I know all your police PR lingo. And when you start talking about the details, that is 100% indicative of a major incident. Well, I sure picked the wrong guy to try and talk to. Stifling his frustration, Kano continues questioning. Did you happen to notice anything unusual prior to the explosion? Unusual? Now that you mention it, I think I heard a cell phone ringtone. A ringtone? No, never mind, forget that. There's no way the ringtone on someone's phone would be audible through all that. The man was probably right, but somehow the idea nagged at Kano. He jotted down a note in his pad. Kano. It was Stanley, perfect timing. Thank you for your cooperation, Kano told the man. Then he hurried on his way. Stanley stepped in close enough to whisper. Who was that guy? An eyewitness to the explosion, apparently. Did he have any info? He said he heard a cell phone ringtone at the time of the explosion. Not sure if that's significant, though. Stanley stood silently for a moment, thinking. What about that girl? Kano asked. Has she woken up? No. I'm going to drive her to the hospital. Huh? Why do that yourself? Just look around, Stanley said. He cast his eyes out over the scene. There were still many injured people lying on the roadside. It seemed the authorities hadn't sent enough ambulances. But isn't your car back in Maru Yamacho? Kano asked. Under the circumstances, I think it makes sense for me to go back for it, Stanley replied coolly. Besides, I have a few things I'd like to ask her. Kano was curious. You do? He asked. Beep beep. Stanley's cell rang. Yes? Stanley answered the phone in English. As he listened, his demeanor changed. The blood drained from his face. His hand began to tremble slightly as he gripped the phone. Kano had never seen him this shaken up. You got it, Stanley said at last. He hung up the phone and let out a sigh. What is it? Kano asked. Stanley headed into an alley without responding. Kano hurried after him. Once they were out of earshot of the crowd, Stanley finally spoke up. Now we get to see the whole conversation. That call right now was from Gordon, my superior. Supervisor. Superior. He broke off there and for a long while was silent. He appeared to be struggling with some strong emotion. Yeah, be direct. Kano was getting impatient. What is it? If you're going to tell me something, then tell me. Alright, Stanley said at last. I can trust you with this. Wow, never thought I'd hear you say to trust me. Kano teased, but Stanley's expression remained dead serious. We were contacted on our end by the mastermind of this plot. Those international criminals you mentioned? Correct. Roughly 8 hours ago. They infected Maria Asawa with the Ua virus. Then, they let her loose somewhere in Shibuya. Hold on. By Ua, you mean... Kano thought back to his earlier conversation with Stanley. These criminals were trying to get their hands on a new drug. An antiviral drug developed by Kenji Asawa that had been shown to be effective against the Ua virus. Stanley hesitated before continuing. This is a killer virus with 100% mortality rate once it takes hold. Kenji Asawa's antiviral is our only means of combating it. A mortality rate of 100%? It has an incubation period of 12 hours. In another 4 hours, Maria Asawa will go symptomatic. After that, she'll begin spreading the virus through the city. It's capable of airborne transmission. Following the onset of symptoms, individuals infected with the Ua virus bleed from the lungs, and the virus is readily released into the air via coughing. It's all so very somewhat real. The Ua virus is highly resilient in the open air, can survive even after saliva or other fluids have evaporated. simply getting within 2 meters. Ew, a symptomatic patient is said to carry a high risk of infection. Bodily fluids from deceased patients carry an especially high concentration of the virus, and anything contaminated with such fluids must be thoroughly sterilized before it's safe. Stanley nodded. If we don't administer Kenji Asawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms? Yes? Connor's voice was trembling now. Stanley spoke with complete certainty. Everyone in Shibuya is going to die. Well, then we need to find Maria Asawa and get the antiviral to her as soon as possible, Connor said, panicking. Stanley remained cool. Just calm down. There's more to the story that... Stanley was interrupted by a strange sound from the upper floors of a nearby building. Unsure of what it was, the two men hurriedly relocated. Great. They paused when they came to a vacant lot. The place was deserted. No need to worry about being overheard here. You said there was more to the story? Kano prompted. The antiviral in question is stored in Kenji Asawa's laboratory. The lab is protected by a sophisticated security system. Apparently, the storage area where the drug is kept requires fingerprint authentication from both Asawa and Tanaka. What? But Tanaka's... Kano couldn't help but gasp. Tanaka was currently a fugitive, the prime suspect in the kidnapping case. There was no chance of getting any fingerprint authorization from him at this stage. Is there any other way to get in? Kano asked. The door can also be unlocked via password in place of the fingerprint scanner, but we'd still need to know what Tanaka chose for his password. No. In any event, Stanley said, it's essential that we track down and secure Maria. But, he went on, his voice grave. Even if we get Maria to safety, the mastermind is now in possession of the Uwa virus. If they want, they can unleash a bioterrorist attack on Shibuya at any time. To put it bluntly, the lives of every man, woman, and child in the city are in their hands. Connor felt a pulse of fear deep enough to give him vertigo. He slowly tilted his head back. He slowly tilted his head and gazed at the sky, vast and blue as always. It's not my fault that time for getting all mixed up there. There had to be tens of thousands of people in Shibuya right now. Rumi and Shizu were among them. And they might all be dead within a day. It felt so unreal, Connor's mind almost couldn't process it. With an effort of will, he shook himself out of his daze. Now was no time to waver. We have to try, he said. In the next 4 hours, we need to find Maria Asawa and figure out a way to stop this mastermind and the Uwa virus. The words were as much for himself as they were for his companion. Let's do this, Stanley. We might not always see eye to eye, but together I feel like you and I can find a way. But Stanley averted his gaze. My job here is simply to apprehend the mastermind. Kano felt a resurgence to his earlier anger at Stanley once again. Once again, he was putting his duties above human life. I'm sorry. Stanley's voice was a quiet mutter. You should get away from Shibuya as soon as possible, Kano. Kano hadn't imagined that the American would ever be worried for him. I appreciate the warning, he said, but I'm seeing this through to the end. This isn't the sort of thing you can solve with just an effort of willpower. Even so, giving up isn't the Japanese detective way. Stanley let out a nasal chuckle. Back to that again, are we? Same to you. Kano managed a tiny chuckle of his own. Listen, Stanley went on after a moment, this is just between you and me. The mastermind behind this kidnapping case is an arms dealer who goes by the name Alfred. Alfred. Beyond simply selling weapons, illegal arms dealers are also frequently involved in smuggling weapons unlawfully obtained through deals with government or military contracts. In recent years, such enterprises have become increasingly globalized. Some dealers form smuggling networks that also deal in money laundering, drug trafficking, and more. Alfred, the attempted bioterrorist attack on Kasumigaseki, a hotel bombing in Chicago. Alfred had a hand in all of them. What do you know about this criminal? Kano asked. Stanley's expression grew even darker. Alfred's signature is extremely meticulous planning, but I don't mean meticulous in the same way you or I might normally think of it. Their plans are perfectly imperfect. Do you get what I mean? Kano shook his head. Alfred deliberately engineers accidents to make things complicated and unpredictable. It's difficult to get a good grasp of what's going on when the situation seems to be falling apart. People tend not to consider that coincidental mishaps might be anything but. In the end, they don't even realize they were playing right into the mastermind's hands all along. Connell could hear the intensity in Stanley's voice. I'm afraid that's all I can say. Stanley held out his right hand. See you around, Kano, if we're still alive. Alfred. Codename Alfred. If we're still alive. Kano let that sink in for a moment. Man, don't even. Perfectly imperfect. Alright, calling your shot. This is you calling the shot. Your last one of Tama actually being a cat didn't really work out so well. I've never been so sure in my life. Alright. Prediction made in chat is that Alfred is Yanagashita. Yanagashita is Alfred. I'm saying Alfred. It might be Alfard. Or Alpard. It's whatever. Nah, I'll shake your hand after we finish this case. Wait, did I read the thing before? What was this? Afraid that's all I could say. I'll see you around, Kano, if we're still alive. If we're still alive, Kano, let that sink in for a moment. Okay. With a slight smile, Stanley withdrew his hand. Fist pump. Bump. Then the two bumped fists and said, Alright, we'll meet again, Kano. I'm sure of it. Yeah, see you then. If Yanagashita ends up being the mastermind, No sooner had Stanley departed than Kuze's voice came in over the wireless. Attention all units. As of now, further investigation on the kidnapping case is suspended. The director's voice sounded strangely cold. I repeat. As of now, further investigation on the kidnapping case is suspended. Wait, hold on. Sir, Connor shouted. What is it, Connor? Could you let us know why? We've received information that Maria Sawa has been infected with an unknown virus and has been released somewhere in Shibuya. That matched up with what Stanley had said earlier. An anti-bioterrorism security force will probably be deployed to Shibuya. So terrorism involving biological agents such as bacteria or viruses. Biological weapons are easier to acquire and transport than nuclear weapons because they rely on organisms' natural ability to proliferate or infect. They can yield powerful results for low effort. For these reasons, recent years have seen widespread apprehension about the possibility that such weapons might be used by terrorists. In the event that a bioterrorist attack occurred in Japan, temporary quarantine and decontamination facilities would be set up in the area affected. This is no longer a simple kidnapping case. Our part in this is finished. No, it's not. We haven't managed to resolve anything. Kana, I assure you everyone else feels the same as you do. I mean, you might be right. I'm not saying that it's impossible that that's the case. His voice had a cautionary tone. They're still performing the autopsy on the body found in the blue minivan that exploded. I'll let you know once we have a positive ID. Kuze out. Director! But the line had already gone dead. Left at a loss, Kano gazed out at the cityscape. The sight of the bombed vehicle had calmed down briefly, but now that the news networks had begun reporting, the herd of onlookers was growing. There was also a sizable crowd gathered outside of a large home electronics store. The large LCD televisions on display were showing a press conference being held by the governor of Tokyo. Finding Rumi. Fuck that. Kano might learn something new about the case. He decided to watch the broadcast. Working closely with the administration, we are keeping a careful eye on the situation as it develops. The governor's expression was solemn as he spoke. The moment he finished his statement, the reporters bombarded him with questions. Seems similar to the bioterrorist attack on the K-word 2 years ago. Is there any possible connection? What countermeasures do we have in the event that Shibuya is the target of bioterrorism? The governor was visibly disconcerted. If this does turn out to be a bioterrorist attack, we will establish emergency shelters with a large-scale quarantine station at Yoyogi Park. However, there are still many details that remain unknown. The politician was clearly struggling to maintain his composure. Can you comment on the rumors we're hearing that Shibuya might be blockaded off? Don't be ridiculous, the governor barked. What outlet are you with? Are you trying to start a panic when you don't even know all the details? Besides, it wouldn't even be possible to blockade the whole Shibuya. The press conference continued. The governor and the reporters locked in a belligerent back and forth. Kano left the electronics store and headed for the cafe where Rumi and Shizu were waiting. He had to tell them both to get far away from Shibuya. Hell yeah. Get away from Shibuya. Cafe L'Outre seemed quiet when Kano arrived. Shizu was sitting alone. Kano scanned the establishment, but didn't see Rumi anywhere. One of the staff greeted him. Welcome. Just one, sir? No, I'm meeting someone, actually. Of course, sir. The hostess smiled and then went on her way. Shizu was glaring at him. Kano walked over to him and bowed deeply. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm Shinya Kano. You look even more like a knuckle-dragger than I thought. Damn. Shizu maintained his appraising stare. Rumi had something she needed to do, so she stepped away for a while, he said after a long moment. Kano sat down across from him. There was a laptop computer open on the table. Right now the laptop is in sleep mode and there's nothing on the monitor. But just before Kano came in, Shizu was browsing an internet forum. He takes his user handle from a nickname for the apples he grows on his own farm, which are pretty little things and nearly as sweet as honey. Wait. That's fucking... It's referencing the fucking music forum, and what is the fucking... that name? Is it something honey? Is it precious honey? Is it pretty honey? Fucking... something honey? He's that person. Weird. The waitress came by to take Kano's order, so he asked for an iced coffee. What are you using the computer for? Kano asked. I'm on the internet. That's a good answer. If someone's like, what are you on the computer for? I'm on the internet. Sweet honey. Sweet honey? I don't know if that's supposed to be just a little joke about the sweet honey thing. Like, oh, look at this. We're referencing the old joke thing. Or if there's a deeper connection thing. Pretty honey? Pretty honey. Close enough. I got the reference, at least. I saw what was going on. Shizu's voice was low and gruff. This cafe has an internet connection? May as well start with a little small talk. So what? Again, Shizu glared at Kano. The words wouldn't come. No, actually, this is no time to be making idle chit-chat. If they got infected with the virus, Rumi and Shizu might die. Yeah? Look, please, you need to leave Shibuya right away. Shizu's face contorted with confusion. What are you talking about? Why? Kano wasn't sure if he should tell the truth or not. He was strictly prohibited from discussing a case with anyone outside the department. As a former policeman himself, Shizu ought to understand full well the secrecy an investigation required. But it wasn't like he'd just up and leave town without a good reason. Please, listen, Kano said. No telling the full truth. It's very important that you go, though. I'm not at liberty to tell you why. Even if this was Rumi's father, Kano couldn't bring himself to leak secret information. His mind spun with regret. Huh, well, I don't need your say-so, Shizu huffed. I'm sick of this town anyway. Kano was a bit relieved to hear that. Does this have something to do with the case you're working? Huh? You telling me to leave Shibuya? Does that have something to do with with your case? Yes, Kano admitted. So why don't you run off with Rumi then? Shizu's tone was frank. Well, I mean... When Kano didn't have an answer handy, Shizu let out a single heavy sigh. Is your work important to you? He asked. Kano hesitated. Is it more important than Rumi? Well... Again, Shizu cut Kano off as he waffled over how to answer. Me? I used to put my work before my family. There was no question in my mind that combating society's ills and solving cases was worth any price. And because of that, I did some pretty reckless things. Almost wound up dead more than once. Shizu paused, a forlorn look in his eyes. My wife did nothing but worry about me. So much that I didn't even realize when she'd worried herself sick. Oh, we're gonna get touching here. I was so caught up in my work that I wasn't even there for her when she finally passed away. It was all so very absurd for me. The waitress came by and set Kano's iced coffee on the table. It sat there, untouched, until Shizu looked at it pointedly. With a tiny nod, Kano brought the cup to his lips. The bittersweet liquid was a balm to his parched throat. I told Rumi the same story, Shizu continued, but I didn't tell her how absurd it was. I told her that her father only did what he had to do. He took a sip from his glass of water. Rumi, she's very much like her mother used to be. Their personalities are almost identical. And I don't want her to suffer the same way my wife did. Shizu's Shizu's fist clenched in his lap. What was it that made you become a detective in the first place? He asked. Well, at first I got the job because I thought it would make Rumi happy, and then I guess also because I thought it'd make you like me, sir. It was the truth, but Shizu simply chuckled. If your goal is to get me to like you, you may as well give up now. I'm sorry, sir, Kano said. I can't do that. Huh. Are you this stubborn around Rumi? Shizu grumbled. I love your daughter, sir. I want to keep her safe, to make her happy. And why is that? Whenever I think about her, I just feel so amazing. I'm sure that you or anyone can empathize with that. Everyone has someone they want to protect. It makes them feel that good. It's an admirable thing, wanting to be a detective and protect the happiness of the people. But that doesn't mean you need to ignore your own happiness in the process. What you say may be true, sir. Earlier today, my partner was stabbed. And today is his wife's birthday. Shizu arched his brow. Is he going to make it? We're not sure yet. Last I knew, he was in critical condition. So why I keep saying that the life of a detective is... Shizu's words trailed off into a lamenting murmur. Even so, Kano was unmoved. Dictum number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. What's that? Something that a senior detective I admire very much said. It's a fundamental guiding principle I stuck to as a detective, but I was wrong about the real meaning behind it. My partner was stabbed. There are people I want to rescue. So much has happened, and now I finally understand what those words mean. When you see someone in trouble, you help them. That's not something a good detective does. That's something a good person does. Kano took a good long look at Shizu's face. He had surprised himself, finding the words to speak his feelings so clearly, and he wondered what effect it would have on the older man. I'm sure that, from your perspective as my future father-in-law, my being a detective means that I'm putting my life on the line. But that's not entirely true. I can only be myself. This is the kind of person I am. I care about helping people. Even if I were a baker or a brewer or a bookseller, I'd still act the same way. You're being ridiculous. A baker and a detective don't assume anywhere near the same risks. I suppose that's true, Kano fussed with his hair sheepishly. Shizu grumbled. I think I see what kind of man you are now. He sounded oddly defeated. Which is why now is no time to just futz around. Kano sat up straighter at Shizu's weighty tone. A detective needs more than just passion. A detective can't solve all of his problems with sheer determination alone. But at the same time, He needs more than just the ability to coldly assess the situation. He needs the conviction to stick to a case when it might otherwise seem prudent to give up. There was something new in Shizu's expression now, and a gleam in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Kano almost felt like he was being sermonized to be a senior officer. You got that? You need a cool mind but a fiery spirit. A detective without both of those is worth nothing. Do you mind if I write that down in my notebook here? Look, Shizu said, sounding suddenly embarrassed. Aren't you in a hurry? Don't you have to get back to your case? Yes, and sir, please. I need you and your daughter to leave Shibuya right away. Yeah, I hear you. Kano conjured up Rumi's face in his mind. There was a chance he might never see her again. He forced the thought away as best he could. By the way, if I may ask, Shizu said, what was it about Rumi that made you fall in love with her? What? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Was it her looks? No, it wasn't just that. Kano found himself tongue-tied again. I mean, she is pretty cute. Even if this is my own daughter I'm talking about. Okay, let's not. Shizu shocked him by grinning from ear to ear. Well, yes, she sure is, Kano replied, but it's more than just that. She's also very sweet and kind-hearted. Ah, she is, isn't she? Yeah, she really is. For the first time, Kano and Shizu smiled at one another. You're a man who lets his emotions show on his face, Shizu said. And for a detective, that's not so bad. Thank you, sir, Kano said. He bowed to Shizu as he stood up from his seat. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, huh? I like that. Wise words indeed. Kano turned to look back, and then bowed deeply to Shizu one last time. Adios. It's a callback. The ability to coldly assess the situation. Kano knew what he needs to do. There was one thing that was nagging him. No matter how hard he thought about it, it still didn't add up. Why would Tatsuno let Al Karawan go free? He needed to get back to the precinct and get the truth from Al Karawan firsthand. As he walked along, he considered what he did about the facts of the case. What he knew about the facts about the case. Just what sort of plan had Alfred put into motion here? It seemed that Tanaka and Asawa held the keys to understanding it. There had been relay handoffs of the phony Itachi case, a relay that Tanaka had been complicit in. Then there was Satomi missing, carrying the antiviral. Asawa had confirmed that himself. Kano was starting to form a vague picture of what Alfred was up to. If the mastermind's goal was to acquire the antiviral, then obtaining the cooperation of Asawa and Tanaka was vital to that plan. After all, their fingerprint verification was required to physically access the drug. In order to overcome that hurdle, Alfred had presumably managed to win over Tanaka somehow, and then had kidnapped Maria Asawa to provide leverage against her father. No doubt that's how they'd gotten Itomi to take the antiviral with her to Hachiko. While the police were distracted by following the Itachi case, Alfred would then take the antiviral from Itomi. That was the general plan as far as Kano could surmise. Just then a call from Kuze came in over the wireless. We've identified the body found inside the blown-up minivan. Kano's hand tingled as he gripped the wireless. Mamoru Tanaka, male, 40 years old. An employee of Koshi Pharmaceutical. Positive ID was obtained from the subject's personal belongings. What? Kano gasped. If Tanaka was dead, it would now be almost impossible to access the antiviral drug in the laboratory. At this point, the only antiviral they had any chance of obtaining was whatever Tomi was carrying. Kano thought back to what Stanley had said earlier. Even if we get Maria to safety, the mastermind is in possession of the Ua virus. If they want to, they can just unleash a bioterrorist attack on Shibuya at any time. To put it bluntly, the lives of every man, woman, and child in the city are in their hands. Damn. No! A chill ran down Kano's spine. If someone did release the Ua virus, there would be no way to stop it from spreading. If Alfred really was planning a bioterror attack, Shibuya would well and truly become a city of the dead. And there's fucking Aya Kamiki there. There's so much Aya Kamiki visuals. He couldn't help but feel that the whole department was playing right into Alfred's hands. Kano staggered, physically stricken by the realization of just how terrifying a foe they were up against. To be continued. Alright, I think we're almost done. I think we have to jump into Asawa. Like we saw that red Asawa thing there. I think we just jump into that and we might be done. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Guess we'll see. Let's finish strong. I'm missing, carrying the antiviral. Solid confirmed that himself. Alright, jump. Before the news was shared with the Asawas, the members of the investigation team quietly briefed Detective Kajiwara. Asawa and I sat on the sofa on the far side of the room watching. They could see Kajiwara go pale. He wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief several times. Bad news, Asawa thought. Oh, so now it's gonna be the thing where it's like, oh, it's not his daughter that died. The bad news they're gonna tell him, I assume here, is that it was Tanaka. Right? Is that what we're building here too? Mr. Asawa, ma'am? Kajiwara shuffled his way over to them at last. We've just gotten word from headquarters. Let's see, right now the task force is in uproar after a change in direction from the higher-ups. The detectives who were on the scene had been ordered to discontinue the kidnapping investigation. Yeah, let's jump back to Kano. He hesitated ominously. Asawa braced himself. Please, let's hear it. It would seem that your daughter Maria is safe. What? Asawa felt an unexpected surge of relief. You mean it? The case has been solved. Sorry, that's a question. The case has been solved? Added I. For a moment, they almost sounded like a happily married couple. It was only the stern look on Kajiwara's face that gave them pause. Resuming back into the butt again. It's a terrible shot. Why, I don't know. However, as of yet, we do not have her in custody. I'm not sure I understand, Sawa said. You know she's alive, but you don't have her. How? Deep furrows appeared in Kajiwara's forehead. I'm sorry, sir. The information we've received from up top is complicated. We've confirmed that she was able to escape confinement. It's just... The detective gave every appearance of holding something back. If there's something you need to tell us, then just say it, Sawa told him. It would seem that Maria has been infected with a virus. Infected? Sawa felt as if a taloned claw had just clutched his heart. It's not one I've ever heard of before, but apparently it's called the Ua virus. Asawa's vision went dark. He felt as if he'd plunged into a black void of despair. Darling? I asked raspily. She didn't need to put her fears into words. Asawa felt them just as plainly in his own gut. You're an expert on virology, aren't you, Mr. Asawa? Kajiwara said. Are you familiar with the Ua virus? Asawa held up a hand to forestall further questions. There was no time for that. How many hours ago was she infected? He demanded. I wasn't told that much. Is that important to know, sir? Depending on when Maria was infected, we may or may not still be. Asawa trailed off abruptly as the reality of the situation struck home. This wasn't the same as when Hitomi had been infected. Right now, there was no way of getting Tanaka's cooperation, which meant there was no way of accessing the antiviral storage. In other words, getting the cure to Maria would be impossible. Asawa's head swam. Detective Kajiwara, I beg of you. Your people need to catch Tanaka as soon as possible. I can't share the details, but if you don't, something terrible is going to happen. Just then, Kajiwara's cell phone rang. He picked up quickly. What did you say? The detective's shout shattered the anxious silence that had fallen. I shuddered visibly at the outburst. Kajiwara nodded sharply, then listening. Still listening. More creases formed in his forehead. Understood. I'll let them know. He hung up. All eyes were on him. That was headquarters. Sawa swallowed the lump in his throat. He could feel himself quaking all over. A minivan we believed belonged to the syndicate exploded near Jinan and Shibuya. The body was found amongst the burning wreckage of the vehicle. Who was it? Sawa interjected. Tell me. Please don't let it be Maria. Please don't let it be Hitomi. Kajiwara took a breath before speaking. We've conclusively identified the remains as Mr. Tanaka's. No! The cry was visceral, almost bird-like. Asawa looked around in surprise. It was I. It's not true! You're lying! Her shrill screams reverberated through the room. Asawa felt like he wanted to scream too. With Tanaka dead, there was no way to get to the antiviral. Which meant that Maria was going to die. Babies? Jockey? Middle East? All right. We did it. Next hour. 2 hour intended to stream turned into just a bit under 3 hours. But I'd say it was much worth it. Sets us up well. I love being set up well for the next streams. No. Connor does not shoot the baby. Don't say that. Don't put that on this. Don't do that. No, but that's good. Ugh. Oh, it's gonna be a long 2 days before we get to replay or play more of this. Just get to sit on this for 2 days. So we come back Thursday night. But that was a fun stream. That was good. As I said, nothing tomorrow night. Almost for sure, nothing tomorrow night. Even if the thing that I have tomorrow night does end sooner than I think it will, I'll probably just take the night off and do something else with the time. But yeah, I'll be back Thursday. We're making good progress. I don't know how many hours this game does have. I would assume at least probably... See, this is 4 to 5, and probably 5 to 6, and maybe 6 to 7. Maybe 3 more in-game story hours. I don't know. Yeah, we'll be back Thursday night. Maybe I'll start a bit earlier just so I can talk about potentially anything interesting that pops up during the PS5 event. I don't know. I'll be watching it. It'll maybe be interesting. I mean, I'll probably just have it on at work while I'm working, is what I mean by that, but... But yeah, this was a fun stream. This was good. So yeah, nothing tomorrow. Back Thursday and Friday. Hope you have a nice rest of your... I keep thinking today's Wednesday, which is weird. I hope you have a nice rest of your Tuesday night. Oh, I got a text coming in. People are texting me. Okay. And hope you have a nice Wednesday as well. And Thursday. and potentially see you Thursday night. And until then.